It is a tradition that the members of the graduating class select a graduating student to speak on their behalf. The class of 2011 has selected Jesse Summer. Will Mr. Summer please come forward?
I was going to break it down with a Kriyak, but due to time constraints, we're going to skip right to the conclusion. We made it. And today, we want to thank the parents, faculty, friends, and alumni who have made possible our presence here this morning. We worked hard for this accomplishment, and we invite you to share in it. To my fellow classmates, the gray hairs and extra pounds, the bloodshot eyes and caffeine tremors, we earned these battle scars. And in these final fleeting moments as lay people, let's just take a second to remember law school. How happy we are to be done with it, and how proud we are that we did it. And now, I ought to have done. Those words uttered by Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes to law students who preceded us into this profession 125 years ago were brought to life by Professor David Snyder as he bid us well on our journey through the law. Now, I'd been surprised to discover that there were few things more terrifying than that soft-spoken contracts professor we met the morning of August 25th, 2008. But we would survive his tortious Socratic assault. And he would end that semester, as he has every semester, with a farewell address designed to remind anxious students that the real exams are never final, that they begin on the other side of this ceremony. In the courts, in conflicts, and in conversations with our colleagues, both old and new. Pretty trippy. Today, we don't just enter the law, we become it. That is the theme of this address and the lesson of our transformation these last 34 months. Now, if the current job market has anything to say about it, many of us won't be attorneys right out the gate. But no matter what, we will be stateswomen and statesmen who brandish Juris Doctors to enhance our lives and the world around us. Maybe it took a great recession to remind us that $160K a year at a firm our first year out of law school is not why we came here in the first place. If uncertainty about our futures is nagging at what should otherwise be a momentous day in our lives, recall the narrative of which we're now a part. The Washington College of Law's heroic founding mothers created this law school at a time before they even had the right to vote. Their concern wasn't to facilitate employment for their students. Rather, it was to equip them with the knowledge to better a society where rights, as Dr. King would say 7 decades later, are too often delayed and denied. We all feel the crushing fear of imminent interest payments. But this is a powerful inheritance of reason that we wield. And if we search for those in need of our assistance, there we will find our jobs. There we will find our community, our calling, our means of making a living. We haven't the luxury to relax now. The real exams begin tomorrow. They begin again the day after that. And can you come in on Saturdays? Thanks. In his Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson warned that all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. Or, as he could have just tweeted, people tolerate the tyranny they get used to. Brownie face. In apathy, our lawyers dispatched to validate the injustice of the status quo. That can't be the lesson we extract from the achievement of our founding mothers. Dean Grossman, I heard every palabra that you said. And clearly, so did my classmates. In them, the brilliant scholars with whom I collaborated and debated and dreamed. I saw the followers of great ideas and the architects of even greater ones. But what most impressed me about the class of 2011 was its execution. In our quest for dollars and distinction, don't abandon that initiative. For never was there a cause too esoteric to warrant its own bake sale in the lobby. Let's maintain our work balance, where we are what we do on the weekends, where our pro bono and entrepreneurship define who we are. Soon, we'll have to retire the fascinating rivalries and drama of law school. And as we pass for the last time between the soothing entranceway waterfalls on loan from Caesar's Palace and Casino, remember that while we operate as adversaries professionally, we are not opponents. We're partners in a system that holds so many divergent needs and customs together. As our lawyer president, Barack Obama, wrote on his way through the Senate, we may be liberals and we may be conservatives, but we are all constitutionalists. Notwithstanding our diversity and our individuality, we Americans are one tribe, and a claim to that document is what we all have in common. The task we share is to augment and live up to its ideals. Regrettably, in the legal profession, those ideals are not always reached. Where were the attorneys? Why didn't any of them speak up or disassociate themselves from the transactions? So asked Judge Sporkin in horror as he issued an opinion capping the Lincoln savings and loan scandal. His words reflect the same despair that leads too many Americans to distrust and deride our profession. Yet we graduates of WCL's class of 2011 will soon serve as powerful counterexamples to those indictments if we remain conscious that our profession is legitimate only to the extent that we cherish it as such. For if the people see lawyers as merely one card in a deck stacked against them, doling out justice only to the highest bidders, how will the promise of our legal system be conveyed to a public wise enough not to spend $250,000 on law school, but in need of its teachings nonetheless? Professor Snyder had said in his farewell address that with our every argument and action, we decide whether society can respect the law. We protect the promise of our trade only by respecting it ourselves. Now, that's not to say we won't have our differences with this thing they call the law. I doubt any of us can say that not one of our 86 credits never left us disillusioned. Our professors themselves often noted that a case had been included in our texts only to show us what not to do. And early on, I saw only a law that promotes property rights over human rights, which invents common law doctrines to protect commercial interests over a decimated people's quest for dignity in the stadium of a nearby football franchise, which keeps special purpose vehicles off the balance sheets and financial executives secure from prosecution. But in time, I began to understand that these were just mere hiccups in an ongoing inquiry for justice. A given holding or oversight is incidental to the fact that Justice John Marshall's third and co-equal branch has become a forum for the evolution of thought, where lawyers apply our ever-developing cultural morality to questions that might be answered in a new day. And it is here, taking a page from the Marshall-Brennan Project, that I'm able to see that my Juris Doctor equips me to be a teacher. And in clinic this year, I learned to empower my client, to give her the agency to decide, to direct, to control. Yet if my client is in the driver's seat, I'm the GPS on the dash. If you turn left when I tell you to turn right, I'll recalculate. There may be lots of different routes to the destination, but we must teach our clients how to get to the fairest result. Now, some might find provocative this soft critique on client-centeredness. But what does it mean to be stewards of the law? With due acknowledgement of the controversy he engendered in his career as a lawyer for the situation, Louis Brandeis sought the most mutually beneficial solution among all parties to a dispute. It was in seeking that fairness, Brandeis thought, that a lawyer finds her client's best interests. I celebrate that long dormant tradition of civic republicanism. I believe society can and must unite behind common purposes, and that zealous advocacy on behalf of our clients still leaves room to lend an eye to the greater good. The bar exam approaches, and as we commit to memory the black letter law that once seemed so unnavigable, heed Professor Snyder and meditate on how we learned it through the account of someone's pain or anger or desperation that brought them to the courts to seek relief. There, before a judge refereeing a battle of wits, one argument served to move the law an inch further down the road. And I hope someday we can look back and see that we've advanced this practice in a dignified direction of which we can be proud and of which our clients, including society, can be grateful. For while injustice is still enshrined in our law and in past precedents that compel us to wince at a tradition rife with unredeemable ignorance, remember that the study of law is not of immovable doctrines. It's the study of societal self-correction. We reinvent the world and ourselves by challenging our adherence to the common wisdom and the common law. As he spoke, Professor Snyder assembled his articles and made his way to the door. Pausing at the exit and once more conjuring Justice Holmes to issue a final challenge, he said, "Go out and live greatly in the law." And then he dipped. I was moved by that farewell address. For the first time, I had the faintest inkling of what I was doing here. But I took issue with his parting words, for one cannot live greatly in the law, as the law is not some faceless external something. It is us, our creation, the sum of our hopes and fears, our prejudices and our dreams. What we feed it, it becomes. But with faith in and fealty to the law, we can be the advocates of our imagination. Let our message be our action, and let our actions be guided by the love our law has captured with every new decision that expands freedom and dignity to the less fortunate in our tribe. In that building, we were introduced to the law's greatest minds. But now, as ever, the law needs us to be its greatest hearts. It's an honor to address you today, and it's been a privilege sharing this education by your side. Thank you for your tolerance these past 3 years, and for all of the lessons I couldn't have learned from a casebook alone. Jake Kurtz. Good luck, everybody. I urge you to dream, to innovate, to argue for the justice that will be studied by the law students of tomorrow, and to do awesome things with what we now hold inside. E.g., or but CF, go out, and may the law live greatly in you. Let's do this.